Bryce Canyon National Park, in southern Utah, isn't a canyon in the traditional sense but a high plateau edge carved into a series of amphitheaters. Its claim to fame is the largest concentration of hoodoos on Earth, those thin, irregular rock spires rising like stone totems in brilliant shades of red, orange, pink, and white. Swamp Canyon is one of the quieter, less crowded spots in Bryce Canyon National Park, located about halfway along the main scenic drive. Unlike the vast views of the Bryce Amphitheater, Swamp Canyon feels more intimate. The viewpoint overlooks a smaller amphitheater framed by forested slopes, red and orange hoodoos, and rugged ridgelines. Despite the name, there isn't a swamp. Instead, the area once had more water and lush vegetation compared to the drier plateau above, which gave it its name. You'll still notice more greenery in the canyon bottom than in other parts of Bryce. At about 8,819 feet, 2,688 meters, in elevation, this overlook provides a sweeping panorama over Bryce's backcountry. From here you can see the dark forested slopes of the Kaibab Plateau in Arizona, the Black Mesas, and even the distant Kaibab Plateau that borders the Grand Canyon. It really gives you a sense of Bryce's position on the edge of the vast Colorado Plateau. Just a short drive beyond Fairview Point is the famous Natural Bridge Overlook. Despite its name, it is actually a giant arch, carved by erosion in the deep red Clarin Formation limestone. The span frames a backdrop of green ponderosa pines far below, making the vivid contrast between red rock and greenery, one of the park's most photographed scenes. The bridge is over 85 feet long and 125 feet tall, with a graceful curve that almost looks too delicate to hold up its massive weight. The Agua Canyon is less crowded than the amphitheater viewpoints, so it often feels calmer and more open. The air at this elevation is crisp, and the mix of orange hoodoos in the foreground against green forest and distant blue mesas makes it a photographer's favorite stop. Rainbow Point Overlook is the southernmost and highest viewpoint in Bryce Canyon National Park, sitting at an elevation of about 9,115 feet. From Rainbow Point, you can look northward across the entire length of Bryce Canyon, seeing many of the overlooks you passed along the way from a bird's-eye perspective. The view includes colorful hoodoos close at hand, then forests of ponderosa pine and spruce, and in the distance, vast plateaus and cliffs stretching into Arizona and beyond. Yovimpa Point is just a short walk from Rainbow Point. From here, you get an especially good view of the Grand Staircase, a sequence of massive rock layers, pink, gray, white, vermilion, chocolate cliffs that step downward all the way to the Grand Canyon. Because of its height, Rainbow Point is often cooler and breezier than the amphitheater area. In summer, wildflowers bloom in the meadows nearby, while in winter, snow adds dramatic contrast to the red rock formations. Bristlecone Loop Trail, about 1 mile, starts here, winding through high-elevation forest with bristlecone pines that can live for thousands of years. Bryce Point is one of the most famous and breathtaking overlooks in Bryce Canyon National Park, perched at about 8,300 feet on the rim of the Bryce Amphitheater. Because it juts out on a promontory, the view feels especially commanding. You can look both straight down into the hoodoo-filled bowl and across the entire amphitheater from a unique angle. The amphitheater looks like a sprawling stone cathedral. Thousands of hoodoos stand shoulder to shoulder, their thin spires catching the light like a forest of fiery stone. Unlike Sunrise or Sunset Point, where you're more at eye level with the hoodoos, Bryce Point places you above them, offering a sweeping stage view of the amphitheater. At dawn, the sun rises behind you, to the east, so the very first rays illuminate the amphitheater in front of you. Hoodoos closest to you ignite in brilliant orange and red, while those farther back remain in deep shadow, creating a dramatic layered effect, almost like a painting. It's one of the best places in the park to watch sunrise. As the first rays of sunlight hit the amphitheater, the hoodoos glow in fiery shades of orange, red, and pink, while the shadows add depth to the formations. From this vantage, you can clearly see the layers of the Claren Formation, the pink, white, and orange limestone that erosion has sculpted into Bryce's signature hoodoos. You also notice how erosion works in stages. Solid walls become fins. Fins break into windows, and windows collapse into hoodoos. The full life cycle of Bryce's rock formations is visible here. Bryce Canyon National Park is unlike anywhere else on Earth, a place where erosion has sculpted a forest of stone spires, glowing in shades of red, orange, and pink under the high desert sun. From the sweeping panoramas at Bryce Point and Inspiration Point to the intimate hoodoo walks from Sunrise and Sunset Points, every angle reveals a new perspective on nature's artistry. At over 8,000 feet, the air is cool and crisp, the skies among the darkest in America, and ancient bristlecone pines stand watch over the rim. Whether you come for the hoodoos, the hikes, or the starlit nights, Bryce leaves you with the feeling that you've stepped into a natural cathedral, vast, colorful, and timeless.